Welcome to the Hoffington Post. I'm here with an amazing woman called Cam. We met. Yeah, you are amazing. Honestly, we met at the NatWest Accelerator, and literally, we just merged and we became like one, and we've been helping each other with like either social media, and with me it's probably been mentally, but like honestly, amazing woman. I'm so glad to have a young, black, strong woman doing her thing. And like, she told me a lot of things that you guys don't even...
We can't say yet. We just can't say
the anticipation. We're building that anticipation. But like, this woman is amazing, and she's put so much effort and time into herself and business. I just thought she needs to definitely be on the show to really represent young black women, and I'm just super proud of her, to be honest. So today's her time to shine on the Huffington Post. So could you tell the viewers and listeners a bit about your journey and who you are?
Okay, so my name is Kameese Davis, but I go by Cam. I am the founder of Nylah Naturals, which is a high-performance plant-based textured hair care product or textured hair care company. We focus on specializing on the science of Afro hair and making products to take into consideration the unique needs of Afro-textured hair. So that's what we do. I launched in 2018, my proof of concept, and it has just been a journey to get to the point that we are at now, where we're looking at accelerating and expanding the brand. So we've got some exciting times ahead, and yeah, I can't wait to share more, but that's where we are at the moment.
You know what? Because you know when you kind of know, but like...
You kind of know, but you can't say.
Yeah.
And we can't even hint.
Yeah. So you just like, hush. Okay, cool. So can you tell the audience and the listeners, the viewers, more about how you got into business?
Yeah. I wasn't intentional about my decision to become an entrepreneur, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I kind of, I wanted to meet my daughter's needs. So when I had my daughter in 2010, she developed really bad eczema as a baby. And as a result of that, I became quite ingredient conscious. So I was really mindful about what she was coming in contact with and eliminating stuff that would aggravate her eczema. Caring for her skin was a relatively easy process because there's so many really good high performance and plant-based products on the market that specialize in skincare. However, caring for her hair presented a challenge because Afro textured hair requires a different approach. It requires different formulations and an understanding of what it needs. And at the time, there just wasn't anything in the UK that was suitable. So it was non-toxic, it was plant-based, but it was also high performance because let's face it, it needed to have a certain amount of functionality to ensure that we're getting the beauty out of her hair and it wasn't dry her hair and break her hair. So I am quite a nerd. I'm a proud nerd. I'm owning it now. But I'm a nerd and I get quite fixated on things. So I became really fixated on what was being included in products. And then I realized that actually a lot of the products marketed to black women and designed for black women are really, really toxic, like incredibly so. And many of the raw materials that have been used have been linked to like endocrine disruption and carcinogenics. And there was no way, right, in hell that I was going to put that kind of stuff on my daughter.
Especially when
when now I know and she's so young. So I started to look for black-owned brands in the UK, couldn't find anything. So I started exporting products from America. But it was unsustainable. It was cool at first.
I'm getting some American goods.
Getting some American goods. It was cool at first. But then when the product started running out and you're like, okay, I've got to pay shipping charge and custom charge. And then I thought, you know what? If I need this for my daughter, I need to create it. And if we need it, then other Black women need it.
Mm-hmm.
And why shouldn't we in the UK also have access to, you know, high performance, healthy products?
Yeah.
So that really started me on my journey. And initially I started making soaps and making like butters and creams and stuff in my house. But I felt it still lacked the efficacy.
Yeah.
They were brilliant. They were beautiful raw materials. But in terms of understanding how they worked in synergy and combining and knowing about emulsification and, you know, whether something's hydrophilic or not, I didn't have that knowledge. But I started to understand and appreciate I needed someone who did.
Yeah.
So then I started the process of looking for a cosmetic scientist, which was hard. And
I wouldn't know where to start.
it was hard because I found them.
Yeah.
But then getting them to understand that I didn't want to create a black hair care product to straighten black hair.
Okay.
They didn't understand that.
Yeah, okay.
Because at the time, again, in terms of like your major corporations, Black women wore their hair straight. Black women wanted to conform to a certain ideal of beauty.
Yeah.
And I didn't want that for my daughter. I wanted a product that would showcase to her that you're magnificent just the way
Well,
you are.
Yeah.
You know, your hair's
Amazing.
fantastic just the way it is. And that doesn't mean we can't have the versatility to play with it if we want to straighten it if we want to. But that isn't the standard. Straight hair isn't our standard of beauty. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, sorry, I went off on a bit.
Nah, that's fine.
The
story's real.
So I eventually found a cosmetic scientist who understood what I was trying to do. And then we just went through the process, a really long process of creating a product, because I came with this extensive list of this is not going in my product. It's not going in, you know.
Stop right there.
It was really hard for them because I limited a lot of just their usual go-to ingredients. I limited them. So I kind of caused them to have to expand on their thinking and have to do more research into how to include and what to include to get the performance we wanted.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we got there, and eventually we launched in 2018. I launched with 2 products because that's all I could afford at the time.
But you started.
But I started. And I launched with a shampoo and a conditioner because I thought if I get the foundation, then I can just build on that. And now I have 5 products, 6 coming. The other one should be launched hopefully by the next year, the beginning of next year.
What I'll add some B-roll in there for people to see that so they can see the products.
And yeah, I'm understanding business processes a little bit more now. So I think when I went into the journey, it was kind of like this fantastic idea. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't know what I was doing. I hadn't had any business training at all. I didn't do a course. I just knew I wanted to create something and get it into the market.
Yeah.
But this whole journey, each step has taught me something new. And once you complete something, the next stage reveals itself to you. I don't know how it does that. It just does that, right?
You are right. The way that you explained that, it was just so bang on. It just does
that. So often when people say, I don't know where to start, like just start, because the next stage will show itself to you. Do you know what I mean?
I'm using that clip so people can see more of that come from you. Literally, real talk.
So yeah, that's where I am now.
Okay. So within like your journey, like what problems have you come to hit, and what hurdles did you get to and then jump over? And sometimes we hit them hurdles hard.
What hurdles haven't I encountered? Let me start with the first formulation.
Okay.
In my first batch. Let's start there. So signed off my formulation, happy as chips, if chips are happy. To know. So yeah, got my first formulation, went through to manufacturing. I remember when the palette came and I'm looking at this palette, I'm like, oh my God, now I've got to sell these. Like, how am I going to do that? Like 1,000 of each SKU. So I had 2,000 in total, this big palette. and excitedly opened them up. And then when I opened them up, my heart sank.
Why?
Because the manufacturers had basically sent products to me that shouldn't have passed quality and compliance. They shouldn't have, in that they overfilled the tubes, so the tubes were too filled with products. They had crimped it incorrectly, so the crimp at the top was all distorted. The formulation for the shampoo, they had formulated it too thick, so it couldn't get out of the tube. Like, there was so many problems with my first batch. And I was also had to go through a battle with them because they'd been paid, they got their money, right?
Yeah.
And now I was left with products that didn't necessarily meet my expectation.
Yeah.
So there was that I was having to deal with. And then I'm like, okay, but I've still got it. I'm going to have to get it out there and just kind of get people familiar with the brand.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. You know, I explained to every customer, this is the problem with the packaging, but the formulation's dope.
Yeah. You still got to
use it this way, it's dope. So, you know, we got good reviews, and then we got customers who were just used to their shampoo being a certain way and the ease of it coming out of the container.
Yeah.
So we lost a few, I'm going to be completely honest with you. But it taught me something. It taught me such an important lesson. And the lesson that it taught me was, one, make sure that when you are dealing with any business, business to business, you have a solid contract in place, and you have your expectations in place, and you have a procedure to ensure that you don't pay them all up front if you can avoid it, especially with manufacturing. You know, if you can pay on completion or pay a deposit and then pay the rest on completion. So that taught me something really important. It taught me about due diligence as well, making sure that I'm actually there when the products are being manufactured, which is really important. So I can check for quality and compliance, or they've got something in place. But yeah, my second batch came through and it's dope. Yeah. I applied all of those lessons. We altered the formulation for the shampoo, taking into consideration the feedback that we got from our customers. And we've now created something that is absolutely on point and fantastic. You know, the other one was good. It was good, but this one's fantastic. You know?
Cool.
So another lesson, you can't do everything.
Yeah, real talk.
Big lesson for me. Big lesson, because I think, especially being from a single parent household, I kind of grew up watching my mom do everything. Yeah. And then I adopted this strong black woman mentality, which in many respects it can be quite damaging, because you feel like you can do it all and you don't ask for help. And I realized actually in my business journey, don't be ashamed to ask for help.
Real talk.
Don't be ashamed to not only ask for help, but say that, you know, I need to learn something else, and being vulnerable, because many a times you'll find people that will give you that assistance. If you just say, hey, can I take you out for a coffee, and can you teach me this, because it's something I need to apply to my own business journey. So I learned that. Obviously, you were amazing, like hands down amazing for me when I didn't have the working capital I needed, and you gave me some skills to just kind of keep my social media ticking over. So I learned that too. And if I could go back and do it all again, I would do it different with the knowledge I have now. I know not a lot of people are that honest. But I would, because the first thing I would have done was get my business plan like dank, like just like sick, like, you know, I shouldn't say that, but make sure that it's impeccable. You know, I'm going to use the right word. My business plan would be impeccable.
Yeah, you got this.
And then I would have done my pitch deck.
Yeah.
And the first thing I would have done was I would have definitely secured seed working capital.
Cool. I
would have secured the working capital I need to expand the visibility of the brand, get the staff that I need, the agencies I need to quickly capitalize on the market and scale.
Yeah.
Because I entered at a time where, or I had the concept at a time where it would have been easy to dominate the market, but I didn't have the funds to dominate the market.
Yeah.
So what I would say is, for anyone who's got, you know, a disruptive idea, understand business processes and definitely seek investment and capital and startup funds before you start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you say to your 21-year-old self?
My 21-year-old self, I would tell her that her geekiness is a strength, and not to be ashamed of that.
Okay.
And not to let other people make her feel ashamed of her difference and the fact that she thinks differently and the fact that she expresses herself differently, especially considering the environment that I was raised in. I came from like an inner city area of Birmingham, and I was, you know, in that kind of environment, I was a peculiar kid, you know. As a peculiar girl, like I wanted to talk about philosophy and random things, and I was made to feel that I didn't fit in. So I would tell her that in certain environments, it's okay not to fit in. It's okay to stand out.
Okay.
I would also tell her to believe in herself. And even at 38, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sit here and say, you know, I've got it all figured out, because I don't. And sometimes I sit down and my imposter syndrome kicks in, and it doesn't matter how many accolades I've got, how much awards I've got, I still sometimes feel like, I'm not doing well enough. And I think that's actually, I read somewhere that that's a natural psychological response from a lot of successful people. A lot of successful people actually do have a little bit of imposter syndrome. But I would tell her to believe in herself and her abilities more and articulate them a lot more. Because I think I would have gotten a lot further, a lot quicker, had I just stood up and said, okay, this is my opinions and thoughts, and I'm okay to demonstrate those.
Yeah.
And I would have told her she's beautiful, but not in a way that's conceited, not in a way that feels like she's better than everyone else, but in a way that is not dependent on someone else's external validation.
Okay. Boom. Flames right there. So really, let's talk. When you talked about imposter syndrome, I've been through that. From day to day, you feel it. But like, what do you do to get rid of that imposter?
Oh, it's hard. And it's about your self-talk, you know, what you're telling yourself. And I remember I was going through my negative self-talk, and I had a thought, and it was, would you allow somebody to speak to your friends the way you speak to yourself?
Real talk.
You know, would you let someone speak to your daughter or someone that you love the way you speak to yourself? No. And absolutely, hell no. I would hit the roof.
Straight up, like you were just saying.
I would spaz out.
Literally, as you were saying that, I was thinking, I just see myself flip out differently.
It's all different.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But why am I comfortable with sitting down and telling myself that?
Yeah, it's true. Real
know
talk.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not that sometimes, I mean, we're human, and sometimes we have to apply scrutiny to our lives and you know, be really honest with our abilities and how we can progress and push ourselves forward, because you don't want to have delusions of grandeur either. Do you know what I mean? But it's about making sure that you're kind to yourself, and if you're giving yourself criticism, it's constructive. Yeah, it's not harmful. That's how I try and combat that. Okay. I'm still learning how to do it, but I'm getting better.
Yeah, of course. Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
Well, no, sorry.
The whole game's changed.
Yeah. The game should change,
yeah,
man.
massively.
The game should change. And in terms of my business
I'm just going to clap because I'm just happy for you.
Fingers crossed. I mean, we still got, still got a way to go.
Uh-huh.
But in terms of my business assumptions, based on implementing the strategies that we're implementing and the work of my digital marketing team, I got a team now, Ray. In terms of, converting what we think we should convert, in year 3, our turnover should be 1.4. And in year 5, it should be 3.5.
Nice.
And what I'm hoping for is to be able to get to the business to a point where it can run itself.
Yeah, of course.
Because that's what you want for every business. It's like raising a child. You want to get it to the point where it doesn't need you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It can survive without you. As hard as that is to accept sometimes, that's where I want it to get to. That, I can hire a CEO or a director and they can run it, because I'm an ideas girl.
Yeah.
I like ideas. I like startup. I like, I've already got ideas and I'm like, no, Cam. Don't have shiny penny syndrome. Just calm down. Chill out, hold it down, get this one going, and then you can start to explore other options. So I think in 5 years, I definitely want to have that comfortability. But I also want to be at a point where I can demonstrate to women like me, girls from my background, girls from my experiences, because I've seen a lot. And I think sometimes people don't appreciate that. I've seen a lot. I've seen things that kids shouldn't see. I lost friends to gun violence before the age of 18. Sorry.
It's cool.
I'm a crier. My father died. I was finished.
It's
my
cool,
daughter's
man.
looking at me like, what are you doing? And I want to be able to demonstrate that we have the capacity, we have the skills, we have the tenacity, we have the aptitude, we have everything that we need within us to create the lifestyle you want to create. What you need is to implement it properly.
Yeah.
Where I was raised, a lot of the young people or a lot of my peers at the time, they took an alternative road. But if you think about the skills that they had,
and
they had entrepreneurial skills.
Yeah, of course.
They just used it in the wrong way.
Yeah.
So what I want to be able to show is like, use it this way.
Yeah, of course.
Because we can do
that.
this.
Yeah.
And not only can we do it, we can dominate. We have the capacity to absolutely dominate.
Yeah.
But it takes cohesion, it takes resilience, and it takes commitment.
110%. So you kind of answered the next question, to be honest. Okay. I was like, but I'm going to kind of focus it, the same question, but focus it to young black women and women in general as well.
Yeah.
But what skill set and mindset should young women, or just women in general, doesn't matter what age, because you could be starting a business or doing social media or whatever project at any age, should you have in mind when setting up your business?
Don't be afraid to fail. Because I think sometimes a fear of failure holds people back.
Yeah, massively.
So go ham. And if you fail, sit down, observe the lesson, learn from it, apply that lesson, you come back stronger. Yeah. I know it's such a cliche, but it's so true.
It's so real.
It's so real. Like failure there's no such thing as failure. Just it's lessons. A lesson.
Yeah, it's just lessons learned.
It's just a lesson. And the result of that lesson depends on how you apply it and how you apply it to your life. Will determine whether or not it's a good lesson or it's a bad lesson.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
So I would say that. I would also say, believe in yourself. And sometimes I think that also can be romanticized. Like, all you need is self-belief and you can get there. You need to believe that you have the skills needed to acquire the knowledge you need to get where you need to go. So even though you might not have that knowledge right now, as long as you can learn, you can acquire what you need to know. You can get what you need to get in order to get where you need to go. So that's another thing that I would say. So even if you're not there yet, that's cool. It's all right. Own where you are, own your space, and then say, okay, my next step is this. And this is how I need to get to my next step. This is what I need to do. And then you be determined in getting to your next step and see it as a step-by-step process. I think social media now has created this environment where we see people jump up and they're able to create this image of success. And I've been very intentional about trying not to do that. So there's a lot of things that I've achieved in my business that I don't highlight because I don't want to create this illusion that it just comes like this.
Yeah, real
Do you know
talk.
what I mean? So on my platforms, I will say, you know what, I've had a downtime in my business, and I'm crying, I'm in tears, and I feel like this right now, because that's real.
Yeah, it's real.
It's real, and if
I think people should show more of that reality, because you are right. People just see it as like, oh, I'm a business person, I'm entrepreneur, and then I'm rich overnight. Where in reality, it don't work like that.
It don't work like that. And the expectations, it gives people unrealistic expectations, and then people, when they start their journey and they're not experiencing what somebody else has put, like the highlights of their life on show, and their life isn't constantly aligned with that highlight, they feel like they can't go on, or it's not for them, or they don't have the capacity. So yeah, that's another thing that I would definitely say. There's lows. There's probably a lot more lows and highs, and then all of a sudden you kind of get to the top of the hill. It's like pushing something at the top of the hill. And then, you know, you get there, and then from there it just snowballs. But you've just got to be resilient in getting it to the top of the hill. I kind of describe myself as a high performance car without petrol. If that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Like, up until this point, I haven't had no petrol. Sure. That don't mean that my car ain't fast. It's fast, it can go. But I just didn't have what I needed. So I went and got what I needed, and I'm good.
So I know that you mentioned processes and systems and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what would you say to an entrepreneur to get started on first?
The first system. I don't know. That depends on their business model, right?
Yes, but yeah.
So if, for example, you are an online business, as I am, I would definitely say making sure that your online presence is strong, and really working on that as the first stage of your business. So that you get to the point where your presence is strong, you visible, people are seeing you, people are recognizing you, and then people are confident to buy from you. So I would definitely say for online businesses, that's the first point of call. So, you know, make sure you got that cash for that digital marketing team, because they're not cheap.
Serious.
But it's a very important component of any successful online business.
Definitely.
What else would I say? Yeah, make sure you've got the resources you need to grow your business.
Yeah, the resources definitely.
You need the resources. When I started, I didn't have any working capital. Everything I had, I put into the production of the products. So when I started, I had to do everything. The website design. I had to do no website design. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you was learning though.
I think you know, Wix, and then, you know,
proactive.
got a couple bit of help with Wix, and then, you know, social media management. Social media management, it's not, there's a science to it. It's not just about posting. And
so where can the viewers and listeners, the audience, get in contact with you?
So, here's a shameless plug. If you would like to support me, because I do welcome your support, it means everything, especially for a small business. Honestly, I can't tell you how much support means. You can find me on Instagram, which is nylah.uk, spelled Nylah, which is my daughter's name because she was the inspiration. You can find me on Facebook under the same username.
Username, handle,
Same handle, which is nylah.uk, and Instagram, it's nylah_UK. Our website is nylasnaturals.com. So that's NYLAH HS. Let me start that again. It's NYLAHS and then naturals.com. Yay.
Yeah, quality.
And actually, I'm going to do a little bit extra. So,
go.
What's the name of this? The
Hoffington. Yeah, Hoffington
So if
Post.
you guys wanted to check out some of our products, I am going to put a special discount on the website, which will be Hoffington.
Quality.
And you can get a 20% discount off the website if you use the code Hoffington, or lowercase. Yeah,
sweet.
Cool.
You got you got that here first. You get that real look after. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Honestly, I'm so proud of you. Like seeing how far you come, and then going to the meetings, then going on to that workshop for the pitching sessions and stuff like that. And I'm just so proud of how far you've come and how much effort and time that you put into your business, your product, and yourself.
Thank you.
And I'm so glad to have you on the podcast. Honestly.
Thank you.
Viewers and listeners, the audience, thank you very much for tuning in. Please like, share and subscribe with friends. Leave a comment down below of any questions that you have for me or for Cam. And I just want to say thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next podcast.
See you guys. Thank you.